Hi, I'm Andre, and this is Learning to Read Manga in Japanese, a practical guide. If you missed the intro video that actually talks about the whole premise of this series, you might want to check that out because I'm just going to get right into it. This is part 1, the basics. Everything you should probably consider studying before you open a Japanese manga volume. What you're about to do is lay the foundation for learning a new language. And here's the thing. Learning languages is difficult, and Japanese is specifically difficult for English speakers to learn. What you don't want to do is pick up a Japanese manga with little to no preparation. You wouldn't dive into the ocean before you know how to swim, right? At the same time though, you don't want to spend too much time preparing to read manga, because guess what? The best way to learn to read manga fluently is to start reading manga. So with that in mind, here are the 3 steps I think you should take to study the bare minimum of Japanese, yet still lay a solid foundation for reading manga. Step 1, define your goals. Step 2, learn hiragana and katakana. And step 3, learn basic grammar. Okay, so an important thing to do before you start a big endeavor like learning a new language is to set your goals. Why do you want to learn this language? Why do you want to learn Japanese? Do you want to read manga in Japanese? Do you want to watch anime without subtitles? Do you want to visit or live in Japan? Do you want to connect with your Japanese friends or relatives? Whatever it may be, write your goal down, define it, make it specific. That's going to keep you motivated. Now, for the purposes of this series, your goal will probably be along the lines of, I want to read manga fluently. Step 2, hiragana, katakana. So, in Japanese, there are 3 writing systems: hiragana, katakana, and kanji. Kanji, you don't need to worry about right now. Let's talk about hiragana and katakana. Together, they're called kana. So, they're basically the alphabet of Japanese. Like English, you can string together kana characters to make words, and string words together to make sentences. And memorizing the hiragana and katakana should only take a few weeks at the most. But this is the most important step. If you don't get hiragana and katakana down, it's going to make your life reading manga way more difficult than it should be. When you see a kana, be able to instantly recognize it almost as quickly as you would recognize an English letter of the alphabet. Step 3, basic grammar. So there's a lot of resources online and elsewhere that you can find to study basic Japanese grammar. The most popular resource is the Genki textbooks. There's 2 books, Genki 1 and 2. But obviously these are not free. The great free resource that's online is Tae Kim's Guide to Japanese. Personally, I have not used it, but I've heard a lot of great things about it. So the Genki books, which I'm more familiar with, typically cover about 4 years of high school level Japanese or 2 years of college level Japanese. But there's no way it needs to take that long for our purposes. There are 23 chapters in the Genki books across the 2 books, so it really shouldn't take more than 23 weeks. Because the thing is, you don't need to master it. You just need to familiarize yourself with all the grammar concepts, understand all the grammar concepts, except I would recommend memorizing the verb conjugations. When you're reading manga, the basic process is that you look up words every time you don't understand what you're reading. But in order to look up verbs, you want to look up dictionary forms of the verbs in order to find them in the dictionary. But the thing is, you don't usually find the dictionary forms of verbs in the wild. You're going to find them in polite form. You're going to find them in past tense form, te form, potential form, passive form, causative form. You will rarely see a verb in its base dictionary form. And you want to be able to see a conjugated verb, and you want to be able to deconjugate it to its dictionary form in order to look it up in the dictionary. In particular, probably the most important forms you'll see are te form, passive form, and causative form. If you're a total beginner, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about, but keep in mind these words. Know your verb conjugations. So to sum up, define your goals, memorize hiragana and katakana, and learn basic grammar. Once you've done all that, you are ready to read manga. You might not feel ready, but you are. It will be a struggle no matter what, but accept the challenge and go for it. Don't delay it. So in the next video, I'm going to be talking about where to find Japanese manga, and what manga to look for. If you want to review something from this video, I'm going to leave helpful links and timestamps in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and have fun.